Welcome back to Freshly Charged, where we have the brand new Extreme Wheel ES electric dirt bike in-house. This has a top speed of 54 miles per hour, supposedly a voltage system of 100.8 volts. Most people do know about Begode electric unicycles. That's who the creator is, Extreme Wheel. And let's just go ahead and jump right into a quick walkthrough of this bike. Starting out with the cockpit, we have these big beefy DOT hydraulic brakes made for motorcycles, full twist throttle with kill switch. Center display, which is a little bit hard to read in direct sunlight. This shows out your top speed, the odometer, also the voltage and the speed level that you're in. Moving to the left side, you have another motorcycle grade hydraulic brake lever, control module, which controls the turn signals on it, the front facing light, the speed level, and also an electric horn on the bottom. The front facing light actually has some pretty cool settings. Right here, it has a white light, a yellow light, a mixture between white and yellow, and then off. So that is actually going to be good for your fog riding, your night riding, and a mixture between fog and night. Check out these turn signals mounted in the front and also in the rear of the bike. This actually has a Fastace suspension, but on the production model, they're gonna have D&M suspension with 200 millimeters of travel. The front tire is an 80 by 100 19-inch tire with 220 millimeter brake disc, 4-piston hydraulic brakes. In the center here, you have the controller, which is a 150 amp controller with a max output of 230 amps, charge port on the exterior with the 5,000 watt motor and a peak output of 10,000 watts. It's a direct drive chain system. And inside of the saddle, we have the battery, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting. They say that this is a 100-volt battery system with 40 amp hours and 3,600 watt hours. But in reality, it's a 100.8 volt peak. It's technically an 88.8 volt system with a 40 amp hour battery. So not quite the 3,600 watt hours that they're claiming. It's 3,552 watt hours. On top of the saddle, you have the NFC card reader to lock and unlock it. So just by clicking on this, I'll go ahead and turn off the bike. Turn it back on. Once you turn it on, it has a very subtle hum. I'm not sure if you can hear that. Yeah, can you hear that? Very interesting. In the rear right now, this has Fastace suspension, but this is also going to be replaced with a 200 millimeter D&M suspension. The tire in the rear is a little bit smaller. It's a 90 by 90 18-inch rear tire. So the front has a 19-inch tire and the rear has an 18-inch tire. Another 220 millimeter brake disc with 4-piston hydraulic brakes. And those brakes are very beefy for an electric dirt bike with some fairly thick brake pads. Look at those things. Some of these electric dirt bikes are coming with the smallest brakes, so I'm happy to see bigger brakes on it. Moving to the rear, you have a tail light that acts as a brake light and also has the turn signals built inside of it. Overall, it looks like a really great dirt bike for the price point. However, it really boils down to how it rides. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my safety gear on, take it for a spin on all sorts of different types of terrain, tell you what I love about it, what could be improved, and who should buy the Extreme Wheel ES. All right, we're back. We're gonna head over to the speed run area. But first, let's go ahead and try it on some dirt trails. I'm gonna head over to my high-speed test run area. I'd like to give a big shout out to eRide Life for providing the ES for us to test and review. 25, 30, 50, 64, 72, 77, 80, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. I was hitting 88 kilometers per hour as the top speed. This has a ton of initial torque. This gets up to 50 kilometers an hour super fast. So let's go ahead and start out with what I love about the ES, and that's the initial torque. The sprocket on this is massive, so as soon as you rip that throttle, it just takes right off. Paired with the 88 volt system for the price point, really don't see that for the other electric dirt bikes that cost the same. Most of them are at a 72 volt or 60 volt system. Yes, Extreme Wheel has kind of overstated it by saying it's a 100.8 volt system. Still, having an 88.8 volt system is by far the biggest voltage that I've seen at the price point. The other thing I love about this bike is it has a reverse function. So I didn't even notice that in the walkthrough, but if you press on the M and you press down on the throttle, it'll start to go backwards. And that's needed because the bike is pretty heavy. It's 160 pounds. Most electric dirt bikes that are in this class are running about 140 pounds or less, so this is going to be heavier than most. And this is actually Extreme Wheel's mid-tier bike. So for the price point, for this being mid-tier, I'm excited to see what the performance electric dirt bike looks like, because this is pretty insane already as is. The 4-piston hydraulic brakes are super strong on this bike. They offer excellent braking power, and I'm glad that they didn't go with small brake discs. A lot of these electric dirt bikes have such small brake discs that you roast through them in a couple hundred miles. These ones are motorcycle grade, DOT approved, and thick brake pads. Right now, I actually enjoy the suspension. So the Fastace suspension that's on it is great. However, I do know it's coming with D&M suspension, so I don't really know exactly how I'm gonna like that. I would prefer them to ship this with the Fastace suspension, because most of the other electric dirt bikes that I've tested in the past with D&M suspension feel a little bit too soft and spongy, so hopefully they put a higher rated coil on there. I do love that this comes with Samsung 50S battery cells. They're some of the highest quality battery cells besides like Moly cells. And one thing that a lot of people don't really think of is I love that this allows me to charge from the exterior. Some of these electric dirt bikes make you take off the seat, remove the battery to charge it. It's super inconvenient, so the fact that I can just easily plug and play it from the exterior makes it nice and convenient. I love that the ES comes with turn signals already stock on the bike, and also holes for mirrors. The reason why is because most of these electric dirt bikes don't have turn signals. It's really hard to get them street permitted. They're really cracking down on regulation. This is already prepared for you to license and plate it, which allows you to permit it in states that don't require you to have a master certificate of origination. The front light, one thing that's really nice about it is that it has 3 different beams. It has a white beam, a yellow beam, and a mixture between white and yellow, just depending on if you're going to be riding in foggy conditions, where most bikes have either a lackluster light or no light at all. Here's the little sunshade for it. Really nice that you can just push this down if you don't want to blind oncoming pedestrians, because the light spread is pretty wide. It's got a unique look to it, so if you're wanting to buy an electric dirt bike that most people don't have, this is it. Most of the electric dirt bikes have a tubular design. This is actually more of a cast metal design that's been welded. I love that this comes with an NFC card reader for extra security, so nobody can just come by and mess with your bike. I love that this comes with the field-oriented controller. It makes it ultra smooth acceleration. It is really nice that you can pair this with an app as well, so you can actually adjust all sorts of different settings on it, from the field weakening to the modes, all the way to getting firmware updates. Really nice to have an easy to navigate app where you don't have to mess around with all these settings on the bike to adjust things. Ultimately, it's a really nice bike, but it's not perfect. So at my next stop, I'm going to tell you what could be improved on the Extreme Wheel ES. Like I said, this ES is not perfect. It's pretty sweet for the price point, but I'll go ahead and start out with what I don't like about this. And the first thing is going to be the display. It's really harder to read in direct sunlight. Even if there's an overcast outside, the display feels washed out. I would have liked for them to make something a little bit clearer. The other thing I'd love for them to do is clean up their specs. EUC World, they all claim their peak voltage as the voltage. In electric dirt bike space, everything is rated by the nominal voltage. Claiming this is a 100-volt system to make it sound more powerful is going to make a lot of people upset. Just go ahead and call it 88.8 volts. That's still better than most of the electric dirt bikes in the price point. The other thing I'm not a big fan of is that they've actually went in and changed the front suspension and the rear suspension on the production units. I love the bike right now with the Fastace suspension. I don't know if I'm gonna love it with the D&M suspension. One thing that really bugs me is the seat design on the ES. It's bolted on, there's no quick release with the key, there's no button to get it off. You have to have tools on you. So if you're gonna be out and about and you don't carry a screwdriver, you're not gonna be able to get the seat off. Very obnoxious. And the overall design of it seems like a soft plastic polymer. I would have liked for them to make it more rigid. One big problem I have with this is the tire tread on the off-road tire option. I've been ripping this on loose gravel, packed dirt, and I don't feel great with it. It feels like it gets washed out, it feels like it's loose, and it's just because that polymer that's on these off-road tires are really hard and don't offer great grip. I haven't had the opportunity to try the street version, but those tires may be a lot better than the off-road tires. The other thing that's kind of obnoxious about this bike is the installation process. Most electric dirt bikes, you just have to install the front tire on and also the handlebars. On this bike, you have to install the rear suspension. There's so much tension in there. It's so hard to get that bolt lined up. Love the unique design of the ES, but one thing I'm not a huge fan of is this is cast metal that's been welded together. Cast metal typically is fine, but if it does break, it's really hard to tell. You don't really see the stress fractures until it's too late. They were doing some tests in China where they're throwing this bike off of cliffs and seemed like it's perfectly fine, but I do prefer steel rather than cast metal for the frame of a bike. The regen braking on this is surprisingly great, but one thing that I wish that you could do in the app is adjust it. Yes, through the different speed modes, the regen braking will adjust, but I wish that I could adjust the regen braking across all of the speed modes for whatever I like depending on the type of riding I'm doing that day. I love that this at least has some type of audible horn. It has the electric horn, but really for the speeds that you're traveling on with this bike, it does need a motorcycle grade horn. I'm gonna keep riding, and as I ride, I'm gonna tell you who should pick up the Extreme Wheel ES. This is perfect for someone who's looking for a budget-friendly electric dirt bike with the highest voltage system. I can't think of another electric dirt bike at the price point that's greater than 72 volts, so 88.8 volts is really high. If you're looking to support an awesome company, E-Ride Life is the company that's selling this bike. They help support the community in personal electric vehicles by getting out there, sharing their experiences, and sharing the devices to the community. Check out our full run review at freshlycharged.com, and make sure when you ride, wear your safety gear.